So the bioentrepreneurship program, the first year students, we are doing our first practical placement at the moment. So we are placed at companies and doing a project, but of course, because of the situation, it's virtual. And how that is going, it's going pretty well for me and my company and my colleague. We meet virtually almost 2-3 times a week with our supervisor, and we have a lot of discussions. And me and my colleague that's also in my class, we actually meet on campus and work together. Could be, of course, better, but considering we're doing quite good.
I'm in the first year of the Biomed Bachelor's program, and we just have the normal courses, but through the Zoom, and we have lectures. Yesterday I had my first seminar via Zoom, and then we have lab reports that we have to write, which is quite difficult if you don't do the lab. So we just write the lab reports theoretically, imagining us standing in the laboratory. And otherwise, a lot of my classmates went to their home countries, which is something you have to get adjusted to. I'm still in Sweden, often go to Karolinska to use one of the study rooms or the open study areas, the good Wi-Fi. It's very nice to still bike to campus, which, I don't take any public transportation anymore. I have to bike everywhere, which is also quite exhausting.
Hi, my name is Rao, and I am right now in my final semester in Masters in Health Economics Policy and Management. Right now, I just submitted my thesis, and it was mostly scoping review. And so 6 months, it was exhausting because we had our seminars and it was on Zoom. And then we kind of used to meeting everyone in the space, and then suddenly you are engrossed into the research activities and stuff. And then the only interaction you have is through Zoom with your supervisor. And sometimes they are busy, so you have to go about doing it by yourself. So it can be exhausting. So it's very important that, we get, we sometimes plan, we and our friends, classmates all plan a Zoom meeting so that, we could all share our experiences and where and how we can improve on what problems we are encountering with research practices, what we're having, or how do we, let's say, with certain results, how do you present it and stuff like that. So this was not formally an online distance learning aspect, except for the seminars we had, the formal ones. This was mostly kind of like a workshop, which was conducted by us for us. So that was one of the newest experiences we had to, use to overcome the COVID distance challenge.
For me, it was tough in the beginning because I really like to have that balance of when I'm at school, I'm doing schoolwork and I'm focused, and when I'm home in my room, I just want to relax and not really be in focus mode. So that was an adjustment to be able to have the discipline and not procrastinate as much when you're home, which is a gift of mine. I'm excellent in procrastinating. So that really was a challenge, but it's going better because, well, I just simply have to. I need to pass my courses. So yes, so that has been the main challenge for sure.
Yeah, I think for me, it was that I really enjoyed the routine I had during the normal studying, like when we weren't on distance studying yet. And I really liked it to have a schedule during the day. So you go to school, you're productive, you have sports after, and then you would go home, make dinner, and that would be the same every day during the week. And now it's very different because you don't really have the change of location in it anymore. There's a lot of sports that broke away, and you kind of have to motivate yourself to do your own sports or start your own routine and have a routine in your room or in your apartment. And that was hard in the beginning, and I missed the kind of routine I had during normal studying. But now I've started to realize that there is positive sides to it, so that you can put more effort in, I don't know, for example, making your breakfast or your lunch, and you can maybe go for a run in between your online lectures, or you can maybe you're available for, or you can stretch, or you can clean your room during lectures, and then afterwards you have I don't know, it's just like, I think it's important to embrace the positive sides, especially when it lasts for a long while.
So I have to agree with both of you on that. Like, it's been very important, and this whole challenge was a new one, which was not completely hit us unexpectedly. But again, adaptability is the key in, and human strength and resilience. So, but the one of the important thing I felt was, like, right now we're not having a formal structure. So being a management student, like, it was good to apply all those project management skills and practices and into personal life, like making sure at least getting up on time. Because at least that was the biggest challenge I faced, like moving into this one, like, oh my god, waking up at odd hours, and then your whole time is completely in a different loop. And then putting it in order, and at least weekdays being weekdays, and then allotting a space in the room which was like your workspace, and you're just, when you are in that space, you are just working, and you take breaks like you're as if in your workspace. And trying to use the calendar app to its highest efficiency, linking all the calendar apps in one place, so that you plan a meet, and so you can link it. So it's kind of like, I could this one way of looking at it was mostly trying to use this opportunity to explore all the tools I have out there, which is free and accessible for individuals, for personal and stuff like that. Because I was using one of the tools which was recommended by my supervisor, so that to help me be on track with my thesis work, which is like a 6 month process. We need to know what steps we have, how to go about it, like by what time I need what. So it helped, to see the timelines, and then it was fun to see the project management tools actually giving a lot of colors when you complete a task. So it's a motivation booster. So that, I would say that two of the key important things is like staying on schedule and keeping yourself motivated was the two important things I had kept in mind, and I could find whatever I could to make it happen. So that was one thing which I tried to make it work during this period.
I think you also said it was important for you to maybe schedule meetings with your classmates, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the same for me. So I have one of my friend group, we have a weekly or bi-weekly FaceTime call or Facebook video call, where we talk about like how things are going, and like how we like the lectures, and what we do to study for the online examination. And also sometimes we schedule lunches with our whole class, where we just open up a Zoom link and talk to each other. Because I think, I don't know, classmates, even if you're not close with all of them, like it's really nice just to get to talk to different people, and not just to have your tight community around you that you talk to regularly. So I really enjoy and need that conversation with my classmates.
Yeah, exactly. That was one of the important things, like just to see how everybody's doing. Like most of the people, especially with the thesis, some people got stuck in the countries they have gone to, or like for a home, if they have moved to their country to do the thesis and with the departments there. And the worst part, most of them were alone. And it's, as individuals, we are social animals, so we need to have some kind of human connection. I wouldn't agree that the screen was the same conducive as it is, but at least rather than sharing that, oh, we are all going through this together, it's a big relief in itself. I don't know why it is, but it's a big relief that oh, everybody's going through the same thing. so you don't feel lonely. And that has been one of the important challenges. Like, we've all tried to talk, and I have some of my friends who are working with the health system as well. So they are nurses, and they are with the health department, and they're continuously at stress and working. So it was just nice to at least send a message in the group saying that, oh, you guys are doing an excellent job. It's just a text, but it matters. And it actually made a difference when your friends reply back, and, oh, thank you so much for understanding and saying this. It's just that they felt that they are not been appreciated enough or stuff, and it may not been appreciated. But we are the people who are in the circle of friends, and then if we should be able to extend and appreciate it also. So that was one of the experiences, I think, which, like, motivation is the key thing, like everybody needed at this point. So it was fun that ways to explore it.
I can just shortly add and say we have the same concept for the bioentrepreneurship program, but it's actually organized by the program director. So every 2 weeks we have a Zoom where both the second years and the first years, we all just gather and we talk about everything. Everyone can ask questions. We can ask for tips for our practical placements. We talk about Ramadan. We talk about the Swedish weather. So it's very important to stay connected as a class. I would say close your WhatsApp and put your phone to the side for sure.
I definitely think it's important if you're like in a location where you're able to study. So for me, it helps when I maybe bike to Karolinska or just sit at my desk. If I try to follow a lecture, just gotten up, sitting in my bed, that's terrible. I can't focus at all. Otherwise, I would also definitely say to put your phone away and maybe take, 10 minutes before the lecture to get into the work zone kind of. And I have like to-do lists where when I have to finish notes for my lectures, I can cross them off after I finished the notes for that specific lecture, which feels very good and helps to stay focused and shows you your progress. You really need to focus on the lecture. I would say you need to forget about your plans for the afternoon and your phone for a bit, I would say.
One way is that to immerse yourself and have a to-do list, like how Marlene said, like to write and keep the day's task, like, okay, today I'm going to do these things, or today I'm going to ensure that I at least achieve these things. And this is where the tools come into the picture, like how, like certain tools, what they do is, like, if you tick off certain activities for that day or like for a certain period, it just a lot of firecrackers come out of some corner of your screen, and then it just, it's kind of a kiddish thing, but it kind of like, it's very happy to see, oh, you finished 2-3 tasks and people are jumping up and down and doing this and that. So it's fun that way, is to just be the kid for a moment and then actually enjoy those stars and colorful things on your screen. This is one way to keep yourself like, oh, I completed 2-3 tasks today. So you don't, like, at the end of when you go to sleep, like, and then keeping the time schedule, you realize that you have finished certain tasks, so you feel a lot of productive and efficient. And this actually gives you that weekend you want. Like, you can actually not think that every day is a weekend, and think that actually this 5 days are working days where I have to be very efficient, do everything, and then you take 2 days off, like well-deserved 2 days to sleep, and then get back to the grind again. Like just converting your 40 meter squared apartment into a workspace for 5 days, and then 2 days of party place. I would say like that. Just you, single person party.
Maybe I can add one more thing, which is to have group pressure. So you maybe pair up with someone, or if you have a group of friends and if you all need to collectively study for an exam, perhaps you put schedules up together and say, okay, by the end of in 2 days we should have a checkup. We all should have studied it. Let's do like let's test each other's knowledge. That's actually what I did for 2 of our exams that we had to take online. So we paired up, some of us studied, and then we checked. So sort of studying for someone else, kind of like, oh, I promised that I would study for this. That also keeps me motivated.
Yeah. For me, it is like sometimes it can feel as if the situation with the KI distance learning is less serious than the studying at the university, but for motivation, it just helps to like tell yourself it's the actual course you're doing, it's the credits you're getting, and this is necessary for you to finish this this program, and even though it's just online, it's still the real thing, like it's still your real studies. So yeah, this is not going to go on forever, and you're still collecting grades for your transcript. So that helps me motivating, because it gives the whole distance learning some kind of seriousness. And yeah, otherwise, as you said, Rahul, I think it's very important to also have a weekend, because with the distance studying, it can feel like everything floats together and you don't know, is it Saturday or is it Tuesday, because you don't really leave your apartment often. But still, like, if you, I don't know, are productive Monday through Friday, and then you take off Saturday and Sunday fully, like you don't think about anything school related, then I think you start into the Monday more motivated. So yeah, especially this week, I took off even Friday, because I was quite ahead with my studies. And then yeah, now when I started on Monday, I was just like full of productivity and wanted to be effective and productive. So that really helps.
Yeah, I just want to add there, like, how do you know that it's a Saturday or a Sunday? So like, we have a thing here, like on Saturdays, like in Sweden, usually the Thursdays are the pancakes and pea soup day, but we just changed it a little bit on that. We just kept that Saturday breakfast is going to be no matter what, pancakes. So, you are looking forward to that pancake day. Like, oh, Saturday pancakes. Yes. So that's one thing, it's been fun. Like, you think about anything on Friday, you just think about breakfast is going to be pancakes.
And then I think it's also important that you don't sleep in during the week. Like, you also make it, like for me, the weekend is sleeping in and like sleeping long and having coffee in bed and stuff. And that I don't allow myself to do during the week, even though I might have time for it now that there's KI distance learning. But still, I think that you should keep some kind of routine during the week and then have a difference compared to the weekend. And another sort of motivation I use during the week is, I think, physical activity, just like to keep moving and to, yeah, also create a clear difference between sitting on your desk and then going for a run or like going for a walk. I think that's also some kind of thing that helps you staying motivated. I think even though the semester starts up online, I think for the new students who just got accepted to KI, it's important to remember that that's not going to be the whole studies. It's not just going to be online studying. It's just a tiny part of your experience at Karolinska, and it's going to end eventually. So there's always this studying at the university in the future that you can look forward to. And really online studying, it's being like KI is dealing with it really great. So like the lecture, they don't lose quality, I would say. It's similar, just that you're not in the same room with the lecturer. You can always ask questions in the same way that you could ask them in the lecture room or lecture hall. You can always contact your lecturer for any additional information. It's quite similar, just that you don't have the campus to it. It's still like, it's a lot of fun being part of KI distance learning, and you can look forward to it even though it's online.
I guess one thing is to just really emphasize it again, stay connected with your classmates. Really make sure that this is not an individual effort, it's a group effort. You're in this together. Each and every one of you is going through the same thing. So I'm sure that if you really emphasize on creating a good online class atmosphere where people can feel comfortable asking questions, contacting each other after classes, then I think that's the key that will keep you motivated and want to continue the program. So really come with a positive mind when you meet your class online and see each other.
Yeah, I agree with you guys completely. Like, it's very important to keep these things in mind. One of the takeaways I have, like when I came here and then started the course, and then one of the important things, like later on, like after the 2 years, and then you want to go back and think of what you learned in the initial fundamental important things of the course. And that is the first semester is all the fundamental things. So those things you need to always, those basics are always, in your mind when you think about advanced or, important things of other courses. So you want to go back and see what those were. That is one good thing I found with the online classes, is that at least all those lectures, all those questions, all those information is in some form, which is available in the exact original format. So you can always go back and see those classes and then look into that certain thing you missed or you think that you will need 2 years later. So there is some kind of documentation or evidence out there, right? Because of these online classes. So it's very important that you don't get to pick all these people's brains who are like brings immense experience, and it's just a classroom experience is that 2 hours or 3 hours in a day with a certain individual, and that's over. But with this particular online thing, these are documented and it's there forever. Like you can always go back. Like you missed a certain class from somebody from European CDC who said something very important and you don't remember exactly what it is. You can always go back to these videos and see it. So I would look at it in a very positive way, that this is one way of, actually having some course content with you always, which you can go back and, take more things.
And there, like in the normal situation, there's like always introductions or events for international students once you start. And since it's going to be KI distance learning now, or like for the first semester, there is for sure going to be something that is similar to those physical interactions online. So like we had for the bachelor course, we had something called Kollo, and it's like something where the older classmen tell the lower class, like the people that start the program, everything about it, and like give you tips and stuff. And that's all going to be online if your course is going to be online. And you should also try to get to know your classmates through online chats or Zoom, because you will eventually have classes together in KI's lecture halls.
Netflix? No.
So because they switched to open book exams and you're allowed to use your notes in every exam that is conducted via distance examination, I use a website that is called Quizlet, and there you can make like note cards, and for the examinations I just write all the stuff that is in the lectures in Quizlets, and then I have a glossary of all the important abbreviations or processes that I need to know for the exam, and have it like right in front of me in an ordered way to like find everything I need to know.
So just because we have KI student ID, so we have access to certain programs. So one of the project management tool I was using was called as Asana. So they already have some kind of licensing with KI student email ID. So we could access a lot of features in it. So one thing, it was helpful for me to use my through my for my master thesis program, how to plan it and do about it with all the steps. Second one is like all the technical aspects of Zoom. Like certain times your screen doesn't work, your screen sharing doesn't work. So all these things, YouTube was always the best place to go and find and then see how people are managing those problems, especially the technical aspects of it. Because Zoom, the customer support is only limited to the enterprise editions. So you need to figure out how people are going about solving those issues. So it's always good to figure it out before you start the session. Otherwise, in the middle of the session, there's always technical glitches happening and it becomes really difficult. For to-do lists, I would basically use Notion, or Notion is one app you can use to go through and make a lot of stuff. So it's a very versatile tool, so you can use that. I use a lot of tools, so I wouldn't give everything. So it's just 1-2 important things for you to keep on track would help you do things. Like people have moved away from Evernote, so Notion is one thing you can take up personal at least.
And to stay up to date with my lectures and stuff, KI uses, or for my bachelor's program, we use a program called Canvas. And there our teacher created a Zoom schedule where you'd have the Zoom link for every lecture, and then I'd copy that to my to my calendar using maybe a time edit, and then to stay up to date with other stuff I have scheduled or things I have to study. I also do like to-do lists just in the notes section kind of, and I even put in the lectures that I need to finish on one day in my calendar too, or like when I'm having a FaceTime call with my family or something to look forward to, I also put it in my schedule. So I have it like, just like a routine where I put everything down, I would say. So yeah, just using a schedule helps you organize your day.